There will be further Dialogue TV Vox Pops later on in the program. Now, I'd like to introduce a leading figure in our political family, a successful Prime Minister, but also President of the European Commission. His work and intuitive leadership in difficult times have brought great results for Europe and its people. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the President of the European Commission, José Manuel Barroso.
Dear Wilfred, President of the EPP, President Pöttering, President Joseph Daul from the group in the Parliament, dear heads of government, prime ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. I'd like to start by thanking the President of the EPP, Wilfred Martens, for inviting me to speak to you today. It is always a pleasure to be among friends, especially in this historic city of Warsaw. I'd like to thank very warmly Donald Tusk, Prime Minister of Poland, my good friend, for hosting us today here in Poland. And my first words are for Poland. This week, we are commemorating the 5th anniversary of the biggest ever enlargement of the European Union, and we have to say loud and clear, this has been a success for Poland, this has been a success for Europe, this enlarged, reunited Europe. We all know there were some difficulties in adaptation. Some people took some time more to adapt to this new reality. But when we think historically, what a great dream was possible to become a reality. Europe united around the values of peace, freedom, and solidarity. So I think we should stand for that. A united Europe, a stronger Europe. We know we are now living difficult moments in the economy. A financial crisis. Not only in Europe. By the way, it was not here that the financial crisis started. In the United States, but in other parts of the world, from Russia to Japan, from emerging economies, there are indeed difficult problems that are a result of a financial crisis. But let's be frank about it. Was this just a financial crisis? I think you have to say this was more than a financial crisis. This was a crisis of values. Because there was greed, there was short-termism, there was overspending without a sense of proportion or responsibility. So it is the question of values that we have to address. It is the question of values that we have to put high in the agenda. And I believe in Europe, we are in a good place to give the response to that. After the Second World War, it was here in Europe that we were able to build the social market economy, rejecting two dogmas. The dogma of the market and the dogma of the state. We don't believe that the market alone will solve all problems. We don't believe that state interventionism will solve all problems. We believe that the center of our societies should be human beings, persons, with their initiative, with their work. These are our values. The value of individuals' initiative, the value of hard work, the value of freedom, yes, but freedom with responsibility, freedom with solidarity. These are European values. And that's why I think Europe is in a good place to give the response. During the French presidency of the Council, together with President Sarkozy, I went to the United States proposing to the United States President to launch this G20 process for a reform of the global system. I said then at Camp David, open societies need the rule of law. Open economies also need rules, sound rules, with the respect of sound principles, of transparency, of accountability. And that is why now in Europe we are in a good position not to impose, but working with our partners to propose to the rest of the world these rules and principles for the future. That is why I was so proud when recently in the G20 in London, together with the other European leaders, we have supported the proposal of Angela Merkel for a charter for sustainable development. And so we have to build on this heritage of the European tradition and to give to the world the responses the world needs. We stand for open economies. We stand against protectionism. But we want open economies with social responsibility and social cohesion. We are, of course, for regulation, but the right dose of regulation. We are against bureaucracy to make life of our small and medium companies more difficult. We are against the bureaucracy, and we have to fight all kinds of excess of bureaucracy. We are for regulation that ensures stable and well-functioning social market economies, regulation that offers opportunities and incentives, regulation that protects those groups in our society who need to be protected. We are for the spirit of entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship based on hard work and initiative and not on short-term profit. We are, in fact, for this kind of ethical market economy. That's why today I was so happy that the European Commission adopted very important proposals in terms of recommendations for remuneration for executives, but also a directive, draft directive for hedge funds. We are the first in the world to propose this kind of rules for hedge funds and for private equity. And I think we are in a situation that we can propose the best solutions globally. With this vision and determination, we are offering to the rest of the world to join us, for instance, also on issues like climate change. And I really hope that in this year, in Copenhagen, at that time, the European Council will have the presidency of Friedrich Reinfeldt from Sweden, that will achieve very important results, showing also the leadership in the fight against climate change and for the future of our planet. We are also in better place than any part of the world to propose to the world rules for international cooperation and for supranational institutions. There is not a better place in the world where we know about creating these transnational institutions, transnational rules, and these principles of multilateralism. And be it on climate change, on financial market regulation, on aid for development, on open trade, we can lead the world. So let's now give this message to our European citizens, but a positive message. I ask all European leaders to be positive about Europe. We have difficulties. Of course, we know that there are difficulties. Who has no difficulties? But it is not with negative message about Europe that we will make our citizens vote in the next European elections. If it is to criticize Europe, the extreme right or the extreme left, they will be always better than us. So it is important to give that message of confidence in Europe. Of course, criticizing what is not right. There are many things we can make better, but also having the courage to stand by those principles or values. We are here in the European People's Party family, the family of the great tradition of Robert Schuman, Konrad Adenauer, Alcide de Gasperi, and so many others that were at the origin of this great European project, and so we have to stand courageously and with great initiative for the values of our European project, the values of freedom and solidarity. Thank you very much.